Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, July 24th, 2021. My name is Rich, and joining me to cover the last night of season qualifiers of ANW13 is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm good, my man. Just came back from vacation. We might just be a little late covering this this episode, but you know, it's all good. I'm sure y'all are forgiving. We'll try to get the first semifinals. I think that's what they're calling it. But we'll try to cover that episode relatively soon for you guys also.
Yeah, we're not going to make you wait another 2 weeks. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. I do apologize for it being late. Sometimes
it's
life does that to you. Not entirely. We've had some busy weeks here, but we're here. We're here to cover it. And I got to tell you, I just watched it, and I am super excited to cover this episode.
Dude, same. I must say, this is one of the better episodes this season, which was really surprising because, I mean, at this point, there's not really any new obstacles. You know, it's kind of, you know, you kind of usually around this time, you're kind of like over it, like, all right, let's finish this up. But I don't know. I thought it went well. It went by quite well.
Yeah, especially qualifiers, right? Qualifiers is where it usually drags, especially towards the end of them. You're like, okay, yeah, I just want to see the semifinals at this point. Totally agree. Loved this episode. It was one of my favorite in a long time. Loved the competitors, loved the obstacles. I don't know. It just flew by for me. I loved every minute of it. I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah. Not many weak points there. I'm sure you guys, there was a part where my blood was boiling a little bit, but you know, but
I think I know where.
Yeah. But honestly, like, yeah, this episode actually had some really good, strong ninjas, and not only just like returning ninjas, but the ninjas that they introduced, actually, I really enjoyed as well.
All right, before we get into the runs, the tilt-a-whirl. What did you think of that thing? That was pretty cool, right? Like they jump up to the bar, it spins around, they got to like make it hop from one to the next. That was one of my favorite new obstacles this season.
What are we talking about here? Do we watch separate episodes?
I don't know why it's called Tilt-a-Whirl. It doesn't match it at all, but it's they hop the bar up.
You watched the episode with Kyle Soderman, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
what Tilt-a-Whirl are we talking about here?
Yeah, I hate the name of the
obstacle. Did I forget
obstacle.
this? Hang on, let me skip through. I gotta look it up, man. What? I might have. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot this little hanging thingy-majigger.
It rotates.
Yeah, okay.
They're going to pop
Sorry,
it across.
guys. I unlike Rich, I did not just finish this episode. So, like, what is this? Dude, I mean, I guess that explains as much as I thought about it. It was fine, but, I mean, I didn't have a strong opinion of it. It was a perfect obstacle for where it was at, but, I mean, I don't know.
That's hilarious. I love that you described it as the episode with Kyle Soderman, like the guy that got fast forwarded. You pick him out with the whole crew. That's I
don't know. It could say mini peeps, you know.
All right, we're gonna go through it. I hope your memory's good.
Where I was like, oh my god, they showed Kyle Soderman.
See,
we can say like funny, the axe throwing girl. I'm not gonna bring up the cats, you know. So it's like
right. Okay, so let's go through some of these runs. We'll refresh your memory here a little bit.
Clearly, I need it refreshed.
This is why I wait. So that's kind of the brutal. And I'm sorry if I haven't been replying to anyone on Twitter or emails. I have to avoid everything until I watch the episode, and because it was so delayed, I haven't looked at anything in a little bit. So I will reply as soon as I can. Like it'd be fresh when we record. And first to take the course, we had Leif Sundberg, who the Swedish ninja. I was like, they were hyping him up and how great he was. I'm like, dude, you're the first runner of the night. Like, I'm not.
Yo, I'm not buying it. The one thing I thought about during this episode was how it began and ended, and how I feel like they did it specifically for you.
I feel like they did too. Maybe that's why I like it so much. It was exactly it. Like the first run, they hyped him up. I'm like, all right, here we go. He's going to show us how tough the fifth obstacle is. I figure that's his place. And in a sense he did, but he gave us like so much drama before then when he fell on the balance obstacle. He fell on the log runner and he got stuck.
Kinda. Yeah, he was stuck on it, and that's one thing I actually really enjoyed is that the fact that we saw him struggle, and I thought he was done. I was just like, all right, I've seen this a million times, but dude, he actually like found a way, which required a lot of strength and balance. I mean, dude, if I was on between those two things, no way I'd ever get past that. Like, would you? There's no chance, right?
No, there's almost nobody that can do that. We've seen lots of people get stuck. But to recover from it is amazing. Like, that's a crazy feat of strength.
Yeah, and honestly, a very engrossing run because not only did he complete that where you could just tell he was drained, and I don't blame anybody would be drained, but he actually, like, struggled through multiple obstacles past that.
Yeah, it was a great run. Ended up falling on the 5th obstacle, but, like, who can blame him? He was drained after that epic recovery. But very compelling. I loved it.
That was great, and I appreciate the fact that during his vignette, it wasn't like, I'm the Swedish ninja. I'm going to show you, I'm going to eat Swedish fish and, blah, blah, blah. Like, it wasn't even anything like that where I appreciate more when they actually show the person and talk about that more.
Yeah. Okay, so I will skip through a few of them, I guess, because I do almost want to go run by run because we had so many good runs, but let's skip down a little bit.
We can go is really, really buff that threw axes. I know that. I remember like her arms just
she is
stacked with muscle. I was like, dang, girl, you work out. Or, like throwing axes are probably like a legit, really hard workout. But that was like definitely stood out to me. But on her runs, I remember if I remember correctly, she kind of looked a little like figuring it out, kind of like a little not as like precise, but she was actually able to get pretty far.
Yeah, she ended up going out on sideways. Sorry, that's the 5th obstacle. The one where they got to kind of hop from, sideways, I guess. That makes sense for the title. And grab with both hands at the same time, right? The pads. I guess her feet got in the way of her hands, and she ended up taking herself out. But no, it was a good run. She did really well, but yeah, that was the thing. Most notable thing was like the size of her arms were they're just massive. I haven't tried axe throwing yet. Like I've had people try to talk me into it. I don't know about that.
I mean, it sounds pretty fun to be honest with you. I mean, clearly it involves a lot of strength, but
it seems to be a fad really that's been going around, right? Like, have you seen anybody trying to drag you out yet?
I mean, I'm in San Diego where we've got like a bunch of like hipsters and everything else,
I think it's the hipster thing.
Stuff, so
I really don't think it's that it's not like a hick thing to do. It's not like a middle of nowhere thing. It's pretty mainstream at this point, I think.
Yeah, I've gone to bars where they don't necessarily have that, but they've got like things where you can they've got, how do I describe this? They've got like a side portion to where it's kind of like netted and protected where you can like pay some money and start throwing some axes. If that makes sense. I've never done it, but I've seen people do it. There's usually a line involved and some other stuff, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm here for my beer and chilling. But eventually, one day, it honestly sounds fun.
I saw one video where the axe bounced back at the lady and hit her in like the shoulder, and I was like, I'm out. Never doing it.
See, that'd be some stuff I do. Throw it like backwards somehow or something.
Yeah. Given my experience with rock climbing, I think I'll skip the axe throwing.
Don't want to risk that one, huh?
No. I have my limits. Let's talk Abby Steffel. So her mom was born with a cleft lip that required multiple surgeries, and then she developed alopecia, which we're familiar with, obviously, from Kevin Bull and the Alopecia Project.
Yeah, her daughter is so cute. I love how like happy and smiley she was. I was like, oh my gosh, Shelby Moore.
I wonder if she was on the 2nd season of ANW Junior. They said she was on there. I don't remember.
I think they were saying that she's going to be on the upcoming season. I don't know if she was on before, but she's definitely going to be on the upcoming season. And I can't wait to see her.
That makes sense because they didn't show clips. I thought if she was on, why didn't they show any clips? That would make more sense.
Yeah.
So they showed it for their mom to take the log runner, which she did, and Abby put up a good fight. But on Tilt-A-Whirl, she wasn't quite able to get past it. She ended up falling. I hate Tilt-A-Whirl for the name. That is a terrible name for that obstacle.
That is a terrible
There should
name
be something
because,
better.
I mean, when I think Turtle to Whirl, I don't know why, but I feel like more of that one that spins and drops you. That's what I thought you were talking about when you
Yeah.
at the beginning. And I was like, wait, I didn't see that this episode.
That would make more sense, actually.
I'm sure they call it like Screwdriver or something else, but like that was in my head.
All right, skipping through a few of our fast forwards, we have Flip Rodriguez, take the course. Like mid-episode, you're like, no.
Never a good sign.
No, not really.
Dude, sporting some long locks right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know sometimes he has like weird, sometimes he has like facial hair or different hairdos because of roles, like he's doubling for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Could be that.
I mean, that honestly makes sense.
Yeah, his story this season, and really most of the stories this episode was about mentoring, right? So he's got Cal Plohoris, as his trainee, and they really played up the competition between the two of them that they, which I miss. Flip used to have the whole competition with an unnamed ninja that was like really fun to watch every season.
Yeah, but I must say this is a marked, like not improvement maybe, but just as good. I really enjoy this new kid, Cal Plaharis, I think you said. This kid is really refreshing. He looks so young, but he made this look easy. Like he destroyed this course, and he is so young. The way he did that, I forgot the name, but the one that kind of looks like the. I don't know, the roller coaster type.
Right, it looks like the Double Dipper. Oh, God, I can't remember the name of it either.
It kind of looks like that. But, dude, he was, like, cranked up those so quickly. And the sideways shuffle one where he kind of just skipped them. Like, I love seeing this kid run. He looks great. He's young. I mean, obviously, we're going to see him for a while. And this competition with Flip, of all people, you're going to be racing against Flip Rodriguez. Like, that is some legitness. So, Cal, you get the athletically profound run of the night because that was legit and really enjoyable.
I like it. Yeah, Cal's run was great. Flip ended up going out on sideways, and then Cal came behind him. One of the notable things is he did the reverse dismount off of the tilt-a-whirl. Like, totally made everything look easy. He was great the whole way through, and then trash talks Flip from the top of the wall. I loved it. It was really good.
Yeah, I loved it.
Moving on, who do we got here? Oh, Nathan Green had a bet with his twin brother Marquez, and whoever did worse had to get their head shaved. We've seen similar things before. It worked for me. I loved it. Taylor Rahman was there, who we love. And she was the one that was going to shave whoever lost. Yeah. Not a whole lot of excitement on the run themselves, but it was funny they went out in the same spot.
It was a segment. I didn't hate it, but it was fine.
Yeah, it was good for what it was. And so they ended up shaving Nathan because he was a little bit slower than his brother. Skipping on down. Who do we got? Sorry, this is a little unedited too, as you can probably still tell. Oh, is that... before actually we get to him, Nick Hansen, the other Nick Hansen, I thought that was pretty funny that they had somebody else named Nick Hansen on the show, and his shirt even said, "Not that Nick."
I like that.
Nick, and then they had Nick up on the screen watching him run and cheering him on. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I don't think I'll ever have to worry about somebody having the same name as me, but you never know.
I think you're safe. one perk there. But yeah, let's get on to the cats, because I know people are dying to hear your opinion on the cat run. Jackson Twait.
So, I mean, instantly I see this and I'm just like, my blood starts boiling. I start seeing red. I'm just like, why? But then, I mean, I just can't. I don't have it in me to be mean, because like it really sad. Like they just hit me over the head, like bam, gut punch with him losing his cat. And I mean, however I feel about them just overplaying the cat thing, this guy clearly loves his cat, and him losing some of that probably was like his pride and joy and a member of his family. I feel for the guy. So Mark, is that his name? Mark, you get my
Jackson.
pass this time. Jackson. You get my pass this time. I'll allow it because I feel for you. And he gets the new, he gets never a replacement, but a cat to maybe that he can care for, to make him help maybe get over his grief or whatever else. And I feel for him. I don't need that much cat in my life on the screen, but I'll allow it. I'm not going to be mean or anything else because. I mean, I don't know. You can't kick somebody when they're down, man. I mean, that's really rough. And I mean, I just hope that I'll be optimistic and just hope that cat that's missing has a new family, maybe, rather than anything else.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. I have to say, so a few things here. So first, I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast yet. So I got a new cat around Christmas time.
Oh.
Like Luna. And I didn't get pet people overall through my whole life. Like, I've had pets. Mostly, my kids had pets. My wife had pets. My parents had pets. I never really had a pet where I went out and like, you know what? I want to get a cat or I want to get a dog. I went out and I decided that I wanted a cat. And she has me wrapped around her little paw. Like, I am so ridiculously in love with this cat that it's changed my perception of people that are attached to their pets. Like, I totally get it now. Finally, after all these years.
Oh, that's good. You got one. You got your little baby. It's one thing to have like, being associated near or affiliated near a pet, being like, oh, they live in my household, but I'm not close. It's a whole other thing for that to be your little baby. So that's nice.
I can't make fun of people anymore. Like, now I'm actually one of those people. So,
are you going to take your cat on scooter rides or whatever?
No, and I the other thing I was going to say was, like, I think the saving grace of this the segment was it wasn't focused on the stuffed cat in his little scooter, so
yeah,
that made more sense.
Oh man, if they, oh man, I'm just thinking like how they could have just like made it in his grief. He started having a stuffed cat, and I just like, oh man, I can only take so much, y'all. but yeah, he gets my pass this time. But if they bring this back again, you only get one. Okay, you get one from me. if I see this again, all bets are off. Scorched earth.
And I got to say, I love the name Hash Brown for a cat. I think that's an amazing name.
Yeah, particularly for his new cat. That's so cute, right? It fits.
And dude crushed it on the course. He ended up completing the mega wall.
Yeah, I think he's always been really good, but like that always just like really. I mean, once I see red, I can't see anything else, So maybe this is the first time I see him in normal color, and yeah, he's great. He's
good. But I didn't know he was mega wall good. That was impressive. I'm really happy for him. That was cool.
That is next level.
I got to mention one of the fast forwards. Jamie Ron was able to complete the course, which was cool.
I feel so bad. Like, he completed the course, but it was so fast forwarded. Like, when you said his name, I was like, I don't remember how well he did at all.
Yeah, he kind of gets skipped over. I think he was like one of the slower times. I don't think he did amazingly well, but he beat the course, which is great. So he moves on.
Hey, still a buzzer to his name,
Yep. Maggie Owen. Let's go down to her, the 16-year-old who trains with Jesse Lebrecht and is kind of her like little sister in a way.
That's awesome. I mean, really, in many ways, like she's like the protege or whatever. And yeah. She has a lot of potential. She seemed really poised on the course. She's young, so figuring it out, but she did really great for her, I guess not for her age or whatever. I don't like to put handicaps on it or whatever, but yeah, she did really well. She fell on the tilt-a-whirl, but she never really looked like she was super struggling or whatever. It seemed like it was more of a freak accident where it slipped out.
Well, I mean, she's 5 feet tall and 100 pounds. Like, she is tiny on that course.
Yeah. Like I could pick her up and throw her like a paper plane, probably. Like, she's
So just to move those things around, it's got to take a lot of extra effort just to get it to spin. But yeah, she did really well. And then I didn't go to Jesse. Usually they do them one after the other. Jesse's was later in the episode. Let's keep going. Oh, we got to mention this guy. So
The dude with the
Louis,
cape.
yes, the cape. Louis Appalucci.
Talk about like the worst situation ever. Like, could you imagine you're doing your dream, and then all of a sudden, like you it's not like you can just hang from one arm and like that sucks, dude.
It does suck, but it also makes him a legend. Like, Louis, if you ever hear this, like, I think you're a legend. That was amazing. So for those that don't remember, Louis was wearing a cape on the course, just like, his he idolized Jamie Rahn, they said, and the cape came over his face as he was on double down, so he had to do a blind dismount, and ended up not being able to do it. But that was one of the most epic ways to go out on possible on American Ninja Warrior, to have your cape blind you for your dismount.
And imagine how terrifying it is. Like, the one thing I always say is, like, those obstacles are so much larger in person than they are on TV. Imagine just blindly knowing that you have to, like, probably, like, lâcher 6+ feet, and you just have to hope for the best now because you can't see anything. Like, that has got to be so scary.
Oh, now you say that. Yeah, that is terrifying.
Probably triggering for you, I apologize. Like, imagine for you, but that's like...
I mean, yeah, it's not triggering. Let's move on. Chris Behrens took the course. Chris,
I love the fact that they even called themselves out, where it's like, yeah, we're the teen ninjas. We call ourselves that because we figured they would never do it. But like, now we're 20 and not technically teens, and they have teens on the show, but we're not changing our name. We're just going to go with it. I was like, whatever. But when they said that, I was like, I like you guys.
It's funny because that actually sold me too. I was like, I like it. They get it. And the show left it in. I like that.
Yeah. Sometimes it just takes like a small little thing that really changes it, where you just get their sense of humor. Because before, like, it's like, all right, I don't know if you're like, faking it, if you're just like whatever. But something about that, I was like, nah, you guys are legit. This is your real personality.
Yeah, and then after that, everything after that was good, right? Like the way seeing them like drop kicking each other and all the other stuff that they did, it was pretty entertaining.
That really reminded me of me and my friends. I wouldn't necessarily run up and drop kick my friends, but we would do dumb stuff like that.
And then they do noggin buzzers, which, like, whatever. That's okay. Chris Barrett was the first run of the course, and he did great. He ended up completing the whole thing, and you did end up hitting the buzzer with his noggin. Good for him. It was really good.
They just like, I could totally see them being 22, being like just the most fratty frat boys you'll ever see in your life. Part of me hopes that's not true, but like, it could be. But that's not necessarily bad. I mean, there's good frat dudes too.
They fast forwarded his buddy, who unfortunately ended up going out on Log Runner. So it's just Chris moving on.
Hey, I appreciate that. I mean, if his buddy falls down Log Runner, do we really need the whole thing? I'm good.
Yeah.
LeBrecht's fiance, by the way, got fast forwarded also.
It's shocker. But no, we have to stop for Tyler Yamauchi. We got to take a second.
Heck yeah, Cannonball.
Muscle ball.
Sorry.
He was just shy of the top time for the buzzer. Ended up completing the course. Always excited to see him. He was really close. He dove for that thing. He was determined to get the top time by the looks of it.
I feel like if like for the returning, ninjas, if like that buzzer getting the fastest time is like your chance of getting on TV, like having a segment. It's like, I was this close to getting a segment.
Hopefully he gets a full segment in the semifinals because he'll be moving on. Very excited to see Tyler. Very super nice guy who we have had on the podcast before. Really nice.
Yeah, great dude.
And what I always remember about Tyler, and this is a total segue, like total, not segue, what the term, sidebar. I always think that I was so mean. I was just, I was a little cranky when we were recording that night, and he had a clock ticking in the background before we recorded. I'm just like, who's got the clock? Like, wasn't
Did you?
Exactly. I don't think I was that bad, but it felt that bad when I thought about it because he's like, "Oh, I think that's me." Just 1 second, and he went and took the battery out of it.
Well,
so
I don't think you have much to worry about. I don't remember. Like, But Rich notoriously was a stickler for like sound forever. Like here I am sniffling into the mic constantly because I have a deviated septum. I apologize if you guys hear that, but I really hope that doesn't bother you too much, Rich. Just go with the flow,
It kills me not
man.
to edit it out. Those are the types of things that I hate leaving in, and I do apologize, listeners. It takes so long to go through and get all those little things out that I used to do. I hope you still enjoy it.
That said, Tyler, of all people, really should have been somebody that they highlighted because what's their favorite thing this season? It's reminding us about the Olympics. And Tyler did all of this stuff for the Olympics, and not only that, but he set the world record for the Iron Cross. If you want to talk about Olympic status stuff, Tyler's your dude. So that's pretty crazy that they didn't at least give him something.
I always kind of give them a pass in the qualifiers because I realize that a lot of times they want to save stuff for the semis. So maybe there could be that.
Yeah, but now's the time. The Olympics are happening now, my man.
I don't watch Summer
Aren't
Olympics.
they coming back? I think they're coming. They're not showing the. They're waiting till the end of the Olympics for ANW to come back, right?
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch the Summer Olympics. How Canadian to me. I only watch the Winter Olympics. I don't watch the summer ones.
That is legit Canadian because I'll be real with you. At least my friends, maybe a San Diego thing, but we don't really watch the Winter Olympics. I'm I couldn't tell you. I watch bobsledding because I like the movie Cool Runnings. I couldn't tell you much other than that. I can tell you all the Winter Olympics. I don't know anything about Summer Olympics. So that's interesting. Hey, maybe, different countries, different whatever.
Oh, yeah, we get really hyped for the Winter Olympics. And, yeah, I know it's worldwide.
Oh, my God, that
it's
sledding.
Just not
I can't wait for
popular.
the sledding. The snowboarding. I don't know what else. What happens to snow? Oh, man.
We watch the hockey, mainly. It's really about the hockey, but we love all of it. It's because we win that one. We don't win the summer one.
The only hockey player I've ever known is Wayne Gretzky. I don't know if he still plays. I have to imagine he doesn't, but
yeah.
That's it, buddy.
You're a little behind, but yes, he is the great one. I want to go on a little sidebar, but no, let's keep going.
You're I can talk for days about hockey.
Not really. I'm not even a huge hockey fan, except for when it comes to Olympic hockey. But anyway, let's go. Chris Ganji, 9-time veteran, ended up going on a block run. That was actually pretty shocking, as much as, we probably don't give him all the respect that he's due. I was really shocked to see him fall on block run.
I have no idea who you're talking about, but that's cool.
Lebrec's fiance.
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah, he fell. Yeah. He's married to Jesse Lebrec. He ain't hurting too much in life. I mean, he's fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. But we have to get to one of my favorite ninjas. Very excited to see him get a huge segment and lots of attention. Kyle Shelzy.
I was brimming from ear to ear because I knew how excited you probably were. And I really like seeing this guy also. He may not always hit the buzzer or anything. I don't think he's ever hit a buzzer. But he just seems like a genuinely great dude.
That was his story, right? He has never hit a buzzer, and I'm just he's got so much potential. He keeps hitting the fifth obstacle and just not quite getting there.
Did you think he was going to right now because they're hyping it up?
I did until they said his shoulder was injured, and I was you jerks. There's I could see the grimacing, and I'm he's not going to make it through. And then I thought for a second that I kind of had some hope there that he's going to be able to push through. He got to sideways and he was going so well, but he just looked like he was in agony and he couldn't quite do it. I just really, really wanted that for him, but he wasn't quite able to do it.
Yeah. That said, with the injury that he has, I was absolutely blown away by his heart, grit, and determination of struggling through these obstacles. You could see it was so painful. And this was the worst course imaginable for somebody with a shoulder injury. When you really think about it, that double dipper has got to be so bad for your shoulders and just everything else where you're hanging. And he struggled through it and got far enough. I don't know if he moved on. He might have. I don't know. But
he did.
Man,
he was in 30th. He just eked through.
That's great. And that is why Kyle Shelzy is tied for the athletically profound run of the night. Because what he showed in terms of his heart and determination is unrivaled in this episode. I mean, there is no way I would have been able to get that far with the type of injury that he had. And in many ways, that's even better than hitting a buzzer, just showing just how much heart he has. That said, I don't know how he's ever going to get past these semifinals. I mean, that's going to be a lot for this poor guy. You better hope there's a lot of balance and agility obstacles or something, man.
Something. And it was nice seeing Jesse Graff, too, cheering him on from the sidelines.
Like if you follow social media, Jesse Graff and him are fairly close, even though like I think they live like nowhere close to each other. They do a lot of like talking online through American Sign Language and things like that. And he's a great ambassador for ASL.
All right, moving along, we got the Beckstrands, Brian Beckstrand and Kai Beckstrand, father and son.
It's the Mohawks.
The Mohawk guys, yeah. Brian, like, to his credit, you know what? Normally when they say, like, he hasn't competed on the show in 5 years, you're like, all right, well, like, I'm sure he's a little rusty at this point. Dude was crazy good. Beat the whole course, and set the time for his son to try to beat.
That was great. Like, as you said, I really didn't expect much from a dad really being on the show just because he's a pair with his son, you know. And the dude looked great. He really did. He represented. And then his son, man. His son
saw.
I mean, we saw. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Kai, we saw in ANW Junior, and we knew he was really good. He ended up winning his division in the first year when we watched. Now he's 15, and he was really good on the course. Like, totally destroyed his dad's time. We were like, there wasn't even a competition. He got like half the time that his father had on the course. He's like just over a minute, and his father was over 3. Like,
that's it. I mean, good. Props to the dad because, like, when I'm Kai's age, or his dad's age, probably not being able to hit the buzzer, maybe, but so props to both of them. They really both impressed me for different reasons. And Kai, I gotta say, like in his little vignette thingy, he did like a on one of those circle spinners. He did like a full on backflip transition, like between the two. Like, dude, I just blown away. Like. These kids are next level. That's all I got to say.
Nice. Yeah, he is amazing. I can't wait to see both of them come back in the semifinals and see how they do. This is the kids in general, right? Like, that was the last of the teenagers for the night. I just, as much as we knew they were good, I think they just stole the season. No wonder they're focusing on them so much. Like, how do you not when they keep taking all the top times?
Yeah. But honestly, the one thing that I really like and found refreshing about this season is that they didn't like overwhelm us with the teens. Maybe the first episode was a lot, but I didn't mind that. But it's not like when you look at these episodes, it's not like half the competitors are teenagers. They really found like some of the best teens to compete with the main peeps. And I appreciate that. Yeah,
I think it was pretty good. That being said, we do have I guess we get a couple more. We talk about the fast forwards too. I keep thinking Jesse was the last run of the night. Jesse LeBrec.
I mean, it was.
In a way, she was. Yes.
Weren't you a little surprised? You're like when you saw she wasn't. You're like, well, this last person better be real good or something.
Well, that's when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, obviously. And I actually was a little salty. I'm like, oh, okay, so Michael Torres got like a ridiculously fast time. Okay, sure, whatever.
I was pretty surprised. I mean, no offense to Michael Torres, but I did not see him at the same level as Flex LeBrec in terms of stardom or anything. So I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm still a little perplexed, but I honestly just think the producers are here to spite us, being like, oh, you think this is how it's going to go? All right, I got you. That's literally the only explanation I can give.
Well, Torres has done like incredibly well. He hasn't had that breakout moment, right? Like, you can do incredibly well on the show, like, you know, hit buzzers, get fast times, and still not break out. It's weird how that works sometimes, right? Like, last year, you know, do you remember that Austin Gray got second place, like, just barely didn't win the whole thing? Like, I'm going to guess probably not.
I do not remember that at all.
Yeah, so
but, I mean,
the only reason I remember
Gray, but there you go.
I was pretty high on Austin Gray before that, so that was exciting for me, and it still sticks out. But there's all kinds of people that do that incredibly well, and it's just like, you need an episode. Like, Nicholas Coolidge sticks out to us because he was like a solo finisher in a city finals course. Like, that is where you really, even though it's not stage 1, stage 2 Vegas, being someone that completes the course when nobody else did really stands out.
Yeah. And I'm sure Michael Torres, I'm pretty sure he like won one of the competitions, skills competitions, or did something. But I mean, it just I know him, and I know he's like a star on the show, but I don't consider him at the level of Flex Breck, because I mean that's like top ninja.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
Skill wise, he is.
I'm not
it's star power. He's not quite there, and he's got to get those moments right, like where it stands out. And sometimes it takes falling, right? Like Flip has had several bad seasons, but part of that is his story, right? Like when he falls and he's devastated, like you feel for him. It's not necessarily success in the course that makes it compelling. It makes a star. Yeah.
But I mean, that said, before we get to Michael Torres, very quick, Flex Breck did phenomenal. I'm really happy for her. I mean, it was kind of just perfect. She didn't really struggle. I don't really have a lot to say about it, but I'm really happy that she now is even like continuing the record of most buzzers hit by a female competitor. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When somebody has a perfect run, there's not a whole lot to say. She just did great. I think it was a little scary, I guess, on Log Runner, but other than that, just solid all around.
But even on Log Runner, I don't know. The way she kept her balance on top of them while still kind of like rolling through with it, I wasn't too worried.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how far she can go. She just hangs with the best for sure.
Yeah. Kyle Soderman, the Lizard Ninja, I understand they got skipped, but I want to see at least something with them in more of the semifinals. And I feel like we will.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't use that. The two of them coming so close in times, right? These best buddies, and they're like within like a couple seconds of each other to hit the buzzer.
I honestly just think there was just so much happening. Like a lot of stories were happening during this episode and they just had so much good content. Definitely not like the previous episode where they're struggling. So maybe they just had, it's just how it goes.
So all that being said, Michael Torres is the last runner of the night, and I immediately took that as being that he had the fastest time and like must have just crushed it. And then they go out of their way, and I thought they were being jerks, like, and they kind of were anyway for a whole different reason. But they pointed out last year you kind of were laughing at the fact that they put all this pressure on him with Jimmy Choi and Kyle Shelzy, that he was, he had to save them, like, and it was like basically on his shoulders to save them, or he's being selfish in some way. Like it was kind of like played up in a weird way. And now this time they're saying, and this time, if he manages to make it, he's going to knock Kyle Shelzy out of the top 30. And I'm like,
I didn't even hear that part. That's like, oh man, really? Like of all people, Kyle Shelzy, I'm going to like knock out? Like,
yeah, like way to make him feel bad. Like I'm like, so he's going to get the top 10 and knock out his Kyle Shelzy. That's just great. Like that. Why did you have to mention that? But no, because he fell, Kyle stays in. So
not only did he fall, man, he fell early. And hey, if you're gonna wipe out, you might as well wipe out spectacularly. He like did a backflip and like landed really awkwardly on his back, like against the like the platform, like the corner of the platform. That must have not been fun. And fell in. But he seems like he's okay. But I don't know. He seemed kind of in shock. I hated the part where I love the oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name, but the sideline reporter.
Right, and now I'm blanking too.
Yeah, but I hated the part where she's like, just tell me what happened. And it's like, come on, man. Like, this poor guy is so, like, figuring it all out. He's just like, he's trying to give a technical reason, like, play-by-play of what happened. I'm like, I don't know. I wish that didn't happen, but I'm sure in her, what she really meant by it was just like, how are you feeling? What happened up there? Like, we're all in shock. But I was like, oh, this poor guy.
Yeah, it's a tough
the
job.
last thing he wanted to like replay in his head right now.
Yeah, like, you're still wet. You're not even out of the pool yet. How do you feel? Like, like, can I get a breath first? Can I like collect myself? Yeah, that sideline reporter job is tough. Like, how do you do that?
I mean,
literally
what
her
else do you
job
say,
to do
though?
it.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. It sucks. He will be back, and that's just adds to the story. Like I said, you don't have to complete the course to have a compelling story. So next year, he'll no doubt get features because we want to see him hit the buzzer. Do we? I figure you gotta mention, because I know how much you like it. In the, I always skip these things because I hate the title. The Akbar Bajabia moments. Did you notice in there?
What happened? What?
You're gonna want to rewatch if you did notice. Eric Middleton, the Bug Ninja. He had them eat. Oh God, I forget what it was called now. He had them eat disgusting bugs.
Nice.
If he hit the buzzer, and he did hit the buzzer, so it showed them eating like these little things. And Akbar was not too thrilled about the whole thing.
I remember like one of the like commercials or something. They're like, up next, or see why like Akbar is saying like this is horrible or something like that. I'm guessing it was that. Because I was like, what? When did he ever say that in this episode?
Yeah,
I'll have to replay it. Sorry, like you, I see the Akbar moments. So I'm like, skip. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, I think I was just like getting up. I wasn't even looking at the screen, and then I heard him say that, and I was like, "Oh, wait, was that Eric Middleton?" And it was, and yeah, that's why. But normally those things are terrible, terrible. I hate the Akbar Bajabia moments.
Hey, if they want to get their goofy moments out at the very end, that's fine with me. Just as long as it's not on the main show, I'm not. You know what? That do it.
That's a good point. That's actually a good point.
Get it all out at the end if you need to.
I take it back. Keep them in. Well, that was it. That was a good episode. I like that.
Yeah, that was a fun episode, man. I really thoroughly enjoyed this one. Pleasantly surprised, because I honestly was going in being like, all right, let's just get this over with. Like, let's see. Because, like towards the end, it's mid-season. I'm just like, eh. But I'm excited, and I'm very excited for next week, because the semifinals is where stuff gets real, So I'm psyched.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah, I wonder if I know it was this good, would we have found a time? I don't think we would have. I think it's just life's been too crazy the last little bit to get it done anyway. But yeah, super surprised, but very excited to have a great episode this week. And I'm sorry again that we made you wait, but I hope you enjoyed it and hope you remember enough of what we talked about that it's still enjoyable for you. That being said, the next episode should come quickly. But until then, if you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Yeah, my dog's making weird sleeping noises behind me. But like, are you okay back there? But yeah, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151. Particularly hit me up on Instagram. I honestly can't remember the last time I logged into Twitter.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening, and have a wonderful week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all.